Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Metroid Exercise, and we're going to get further into the wreck ship and exploring some more around the world and kind of connecting stuff up. Still be aware of these guys in here. They're still all over the place and hiding in walls. Like that guy. These guys, like I said, these guys are some of the most annoying when they're set to respawn. Thankfully these guys aren't, but they're still annoying a lot of times anyway because... And it's not even the person who makes the hack's fault all the time. Because a lot of it, their annoyingness comes from them going through floors and ceilings and whatnot, just popping out randomly. Like if you're staying on that spot, all of a sudden you get hit from something. It's like, oh, there's an atomic coming up. That is what's super annoying about them. And it's even worse when the person making the hack actually does that on purpose. That sets the atomic in the wall and just has them respawn there. But again, it's not always the hacker's fault because those guys, they're moving off screen, they just go straight to Samus, which leads to shortcuts, and that means going through walls. So this is an interesting little thing, climbing up through these little nests, I guess. And there's a missile hiding up here in this nice little place. I like that little hiding spot. Kind of looks like a claw. And speaking of claws, we'll see quite a bit of them later in the scenery and whatnot. Here's more of those rocks. I don't know what games those are from. I want to say they're from a Mega Man game, but I do not know for sure. But they really remind me of Aegis. So up here, there's grapple blocks and crumble blocks. So yeah, again, supposed to have grapple, and I'm still kind of confused about, well, not confused, it's like, I must have missed it somewhere. Wonder where it could be. And then I fail to get up through there. Although I like how there's no door cap. And I'm coming up through water. That water should fall out through that opening down below. But thanks to video games, it does not. And this room is deadly. And then this room... Now, if I had more energy, I probably would have attempted this, but I don't have that much energy. So I decide not to worry about this for now. Come back with grapple. Because the whole pathway was kind of telling me, you need grapple to go this way. So I'm like, let's see if I can not get grapple. Because why not? And speaking of something very similar, there's a little story with one of my testers on my own hack, Fear. Decided he would try to get as far without grapple as he could. And that was not very far. So, but still, that's a good way to test things. Check to see something I think is absolutely required. Check them just to make sure it actually is required. Be careful in this room. There's an atomic right up top there, which almost murdered me. And now my health alarm is going off. And there's invisible water down here. Not quite invisible, but... hopefully dark in the water. Which makes sense. It is an alien planet, so... And with fish swimming around in here, all the rust and sediment off the metal there is bound to be kicked up a little bit. And we've got another missile in here. Now, this is very close to both the landing site and the statue room. Both are off of this bottom section of this big room. We can't get back yet. We obviously can't go through the statue room, which I believe is right through here. Yeah, this is to the statue room. Kind of does that Eris hallway effect thing. It's pretty cool. Not many people do that. And here's the statue room. The other way leads back to the landing site, but that way is blocked by speed booster blocks, which we've seen before. But you can get up there, up that slope passage, which I end up doing. You just can't get back to your ship from here. You have to go back through the wreck ship. If you don't have speed booster. If you play this normally, I imagine you would have speed booster by now. But I obviously did not play it normally. I went all kinds of crazy paths. And wait. More about the hack when I was playing. I mean, this, to this point, it's getting a little better is what I would describe it as. It's still not really impressing me or doing anything. It's just another hack. But it's not terrible either, so that's a big thing. That is a major thing. As long as it's not absolutely terrible. Or just bad, I guess. As I fall off. Terrible like my plane. As long as it's not like that. That really does help. And over here, this is... I did want to make sure that robot didn't break anything. But over here, this is kind of a pointless map room. And hacks do this sometimes. There's literally nothing here that I didn't really explore. I guess the right side, I went there before I found the map station. So there's that. And on the other side it shows there's Spring Ball's room, so I guess maybe it kind of serves as a reminder you can go back there now. Because the room, you defeated Fan 2 and that's part of the wreck ship, so now that room state's changed. So you might want to check that out. But overall, for a map, it does no good. And that is kind of annoying in hacks. If you have a map station, and you don't give it to the player right away, you better have a pretty big area to make it worth getting that map station later. So that there's still stuff that the player is not aware of. Oops. Look my microphone around. But yeah, that is one of my pet peeves with map stations sometimes. Is they're in the game sometimes, and there's really no point for them. If you give it to the player late after they've explored 70% of the map, there's no reason for one. Just throw it to them right at the beginning, get it over with. And if you don't want something shown on the map, make it so it doesn't appear when the map station is loaded. That's all there is to that. I guess that's just my little pet peeve about that. So out here, I try to find that blue stuff. I haven't been through yet because I don't remember that there's speed boost blocks. I want to go see what's this. I'm like, I can go over here, and then the map in this room is a bit deceiving. It's like, oh, I can't actually go there. Because if you see the mini-map, it shows that the path just drops down there. The room does, but you can't get down there from up there, so that's deceiving. Not necessarily a huge deal, but it's still annoying. So polishing things like that is important. So if you actually go up across these things, then jump up these walls, which I still have no idea what they are. And I guess you are kind of in that scroll mark, though. That map could have been laid out better, though. And this room is slightly weird with this design. And instead of pseudo screw attacking that guy, I decided to forget how useful it is. And up here, you may remember this room from the original game. The enemies haven't changed. There's just no longer an energy tank down here. There's still mushrooms up the slopey path, and waivers and gears. See, that kind of stuff is like, why did you even have this room? Change it. So I was looking around because I know there's a PLM in here. Now, of course, the person could have changed it, whatever. Got rid of it entirely, but there is a path right there and a power bomb. If you have a speed booster and run up the path, run up the slope, you'll break those blocks there anyway, so if you have a speed booster, that's much easier to find. And then the green vegetable gamer is indestructible by power beam. And over here is where those speed boost blocks are that we cannot get through. So I have to go back to the wreck ship. Back into Norfair. Actually, back into wreck ship, then Burnstar, then Norfair. Then back to Burnstar or whatever. I don't know, it's laid out kind of weird, but oh well. Normally, I would say by this time, I would say I'm a good fourth of the way through. Most hacks will have, like, set up and you'll be able to determine pretty much what they are by that point, how you really feel about it. Then that normally will be pretty accurate throughout the rest of the hack. Because it's not like a lot of hacks start like this and then end up with Z-Factors terrain. It doesn't normally happen. Normally hacks that have something really good like that are good throughout the entirety, or at least most of it. But this hack's kind of does it backwards, so I actually think after I get back, things they start picking up a little bit, and then later on they really start going better, which is really interesting. It's unusual for me to experience that in a hack. It's like, oh wow, this actually kind of became good. That's interesting. So to get back, we have to take a ride on the bowling ball, Chozo again, get through all these atomics. I just love to spin and get us. Why exactly do atomics spin? I don't think the little orbs on them give them any lift. How exactly do they defy gravity? They use a different set of rules. It's like, we can't have them use the same... And video games do this in general, so it's like, whatever, but you can't have them using the same rules, because then it kind of might make it a bit too realistic. And you kind of need some sort of alien-y things. Kind of weird stuff. This is a video game. It can be a little crazy with stuff. And because the door is locked up there, we have to take a ride on this guy again. It's like, I see you have a new suit. I just dropped you off there. What do you want? It's so much work walking through walls and getting back and replacing the walls, regrowing the spikes. Now, have you ever tried walking through the floor? That's just hard work there. Or something like that. So he happily drops us off back here. Not sure happily. How does he get back? That is an interesting question. Does he moonwalk back? And now the room state has changed. There's no more pirates in this room. It's very odd. Normally when room states change, it's to add enemies in, not to take them away. I just had to grab that missile. And back here, I just saved like 2 rooms ago, but I go and save up in this room anyway, and this is actually where I stopped the video off. That's right up there. So, thanks for watching, and we will see you for the next part, where we take our new Varia suit and power bombs and go exploring some more places, especially those heated areas.